Welcome back to my channel, The Coins World. Today, we are going to uncover the deep history of two remarkable coins from the Philippines, the 2 piso issued in 1984 and the 50 sentimo from 1971. Both of these coins may seem ordinary at first glance, but when you look closely, they tell incredible stories about the Philippines' culture, economy, and national identity. If you own these coins, you are holding much more than pocket change. You are holding a chapter of Philippine history. Let us begin with the 2 piso 1984 coin, a coin that arrived during a very interesting time in the nation's history. The 1980s were a period of both economic difficulty and political change. The 2 piso coin was introduced as part of the effort to modernize Philippine coinage, but it also reflected inflation and the increasing need for higher denominations in daily trade. The obverse side of the 1984 2 piso features Andres Bonifacio, the father of the Philippine Revolution. Known as the Supremo of the Katipunan, Bonifacio represents bravery, leadership, and the fight for independence against Spanish colonial rule. By placing his portrait on the 2 piso, the government paid tribute to one of the greatest heroes of the Filipino people. On the reverse side, you can see the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines. This symbol reinforced the role of the central bank in ensuring stability and trust in the currency during a time when the economy was under pressure. The 2 piso coin was minted in cupro nickel, which gave it durability and a silvery appearance. This made it stand out from smaller denominations, and also reflected the trend of larger coins being introduced worldwide during times of inflation. Collectors value the 2 piso coin of 1984 not only for its design, but also because it was part of the Anyi Bagong Lipunan series, a set of coins introduced during the administration of Ferdinand Marcos. These coins carried with them political undertones, as they were symbols of the new society movement launched by Marcos. Now, let us turn our attention to the 50 sentimo 1971 coin, which came from the earlier English series of Philippine coinage. This series had been introduced in the late 1950s and continued into the early 1970s, featuring national heroes and English inscriptions. The obverse of the 197150 sentimo showcases Marcelo H. del Pilar, another hero of the revolution against Spain. Del Pilar was a propagandist, writer, and revolutionary who used his pen as his weapon. Including him on the coin was a way to honor intellectual struggle alongside armed resistance. On the reverse, we find the coat of arms of the Philippines, symbolizing sovereignty, unity, and resilience. This design reflected the country's continuing journey of self-determination after independence from the United States. The 1971 50 sentimo was significant because it was among the last of the English series coins before the transition to the Filipino series in 1972. After this inscriptions world, today we dive into the long and fascinating journey of the Philippine 25 sentimo coin of 1987, a small denomination that carries within it layers of history, culture, and national identity. This coin may look simple, but its story is anything but ordinary. By the time you finish this video, you'll see how 25 sentimo coin minted in 1987 reflects not only the economy of its time but also the broader political and social landscape of the Philippines. The 25 sentimo 1987 coin was introduced shortly after one of the most transformative events in Philippine history, the People Power Revolution of 1986, with the fall of Ferdinand Marcos and the rise of Corazon Aquino as the country's first female president. The Philippines entered a new chapter of democracy. This coin, minted under the new government, carried with it the spirit of transition and renewal. On its obverse side, the coin features the portrait of Juan Luna, one of the greatest Filipino painters and patriots. Luna's works, especially his masterpiece, Spoliarium, embodied themes of struggle, sacrifice, and hope for freedom. Having his face engraved on the coin was a powerful choice, connecting everyday currency with the cultural pride and revolutionary fervor of the Filipino people. The reverse of the 1987 25 sentimo coin bore the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, an institution that was tasked with rebuilding economic stability. After years of turbulence under martial law, coins such as these were not only used for small purchases but also symbolized the government's attempts to create a sense of normalcy in a recovering nation. Made from copper nickel, the coin was durable enough for circulation across decades. In 1987, 25 centimo was a meaningful denomination. Jeepney fares, candies, and small market items often involved this coin, making it an everyday necessity for millions of Filipinos. The introduction of this coin also reflected a broader effort to redefine national identity. Gone were the Engi Baganglipunan inscriptions that had dominated coins under Marcos. Instead, the new coinage placed emphasis on heroes and symbols of pride that transcended political regimes. The coin's design carried a clean, straightforward aesthetic. Luna's portrait was sharp and dignified, surrounded by inscriptions that highlighted his name and the coin's value. On the reverse, the central bank's seal reinforced trust in the government's ability to stabilize the peso. The year 1987 was crucial for the Philippines. It was the time of rebuilding democratic institutions, writing a new constitution, and setting the direction for the country's future. Thus, every coin minted during this period represented not just monetary exchange but also the people's renewed hope for democracy. From a collector's standpoint, the 1987 25 centimo coin has become a popular item. While not extremely rare due to its mass production, uncirculated versions or coins preserved, today we are diving into the fascinating history of one of the smallest, yet historically rich coins in Philippine currency, the 10 centimo coin from 1970. Don't underestimate its size, because behind this little coin lies a story of heritage, culture, politics, and national identity. The 1970s marked a significant decade for the Philippines. Under President Ferdinand Marcos, the country was undergoing massive political and economic changes. Coins minted during this era reflect not just monetary value but also the national narrative that was being carefully shaped. The 10 centimo 1970 is a perfect example of this. The coin itself belongs to the Filipino series, which was introduced in 1967. This series replaced the English series that had been circulating since the 1950s. The switch from English inscriptions to the Filipino language symbolized a growing sense of national pride and independence. On the obverse of the 1970 10 centimo, we see the figure of Apolinario Mabini, one of the most revered heroes of the Philippines, known as the brains of the revolution. Mabini's inclusion on the coin highlighted his role in shaping the country's fight for independence. His image was chosen to inspire patriotism and remind Filipinos of their revolutionary roots. The reverse of the coin featured the official seal of the Republic of the Philippines. This seal embodied sovereignty, unity, and governance, important themes in the years leading up to the declaration of martial law in 1972. The coin, therefore, was not just money, but also a subtle message of national identity. The material of the 10 centimo 1970 coin was brass, giving it a golden color that set it apart from other small denominations. It was small, lightweight, and practical for daily use, especially during a time when public transportation, street vendors, and small-scale trade flourished. Its diameter was around 17 millimeters, making it one of the smallest coins in circulation at the time. Many Filipinos remember carrying several of these coins in their pockets to buy candies, newspapers, or even a ride in a jeepney. But beyond its everyday utility, the coin had symbolic significance. By honoring Mabini, the government reinforced the idea that heroes of the past should guide the decisions of the present and the future. Collectors today value the 10 centimo 1970, not just for its monetary worth but for the historical context it represents. It tells the story of a nation, asserting its cultural identity through language and design. The 1970s also saw economic challenges, with inflation and rising costs. Coins like the 10 centimo gradually lost much of their purchasing power, yet they remained an essential part of the economy, because small change kept the circulation system alive. Over the years, these coins were used so frequently that many are now found in heavily worn conditions. Finding a 1970 10 centimo in uncirculated or mint coins world. Today we will uncover the rich and fascinating history of the Philippine 5 centimo coin minted in 1968, a small yet powerful piece of metal that carries decades of cultural, political, and economic significance. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary, but when we peel back the layers of history, we find stories of transition, identity, and resilience embedded in its design and circulation. Prepare yourself, because this journey into the past will show you how even the tiniest coin can reflect the soul of a nation. The year 1968 was a significant period in Philippine history. The country was under the leadership of President Ferdinand Marcos, who had begun his first term just a few years earlier. This was a time of rapid modernization, infrastructure projects, and political maneuvering. The economy was shifting, and so was the nation's sense of identity. Coins like the 5 centimo played their role in everyday life, connecting the government's vision with the daily exchanges of ordinary Filipinos. The 1968 5 centimo coin belongs to the Filipino series of coins, introduced by the Central Bank of the Philippines in 1967. This series replaced the English series that had been in use since the post-war years. The shift from English inscriptions to Filipino language inscriptions was deliberate. It was part of a wider cultural move to promote national identity and pride. By introducing coins with the word Republica ng Pilipinas, the government reinforced the Filipino language as a unifying symbol. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the profile of Melchora Aquino, fondly remembered as the mother of the Katipunan. She played a vital role during the Philippine Revolution by supporting the Katipuneros with food, shelter, and encouragement. Choosing Aquino for the 5 centimo coin was symbolic. It placed women and their contributions at the center of the nation's historical memory, something that was not very common at the time. The reverse side of the coin displayed the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, a symbol of authority and economic stability. The presence of this seal not only represented the government's legitimacy but also its responsibility for guiding the financial system during a time of global and regional economic shifts. Every Filipino who held this coin was holding the state's assurance of stability. The coin itself was minted in bronze and had a small diameter, making it light and easy to carry. Although its purchasing power was modest, it played a crucial role in the everyday economy. In the late 1960s, a few centimo could buy simple goods like candies, bread, or small household items. Children in particular treasured these coins, often using them for snacks after school or saving them in piggy banks. Beyond its economic function, the coin also became a witness to history. We are going to explore the fascinating history of the Philippine 25 centimo coin issued in the year 2002. At first glance, it might just seem like a small coin with little value, but if we take a closer look, this coin actually carries with it a deep historical background, cultural symbolism, and an important role in the evolution of Philippine currency. Let's dive deep and discover the amazing story behind this coin. The 25 centimo 2002 belongs to the BSP coin series, which was introduced in 1995 by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. This series was the official set of coins used for circulation until 2017, when the new generation currency coin series replaced it. Each coin in the series was designed not only for daily transactions, but also to highlight Philippine national symbols. On the obverse side of the 2002 25 centimo, we find the image of a catman flower, a native Philippine plant known for its round fruit and medicinal uses. This choice of design reflects the country's rich biodiversity and the government's effort to showcase indigenous flora. The catman flower is rarely highlighted in other forms of national symbolism, which makes this coin particularly special. The reverse side of the coin features the official seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. This seal represents the authority of the central bank in maintaining the stability of the Philippine currency system. By placing the BSP seal on the coin, it affirms trust and authenticity in every piece of currency circulated. The coin was made from brass-bladed steel, a material chosen to balance durability with affordability. This gave the coin a distinct golden color, making it easy for people to recognize among other denominations. The golden look also gave it a sense of value even though it was just 25 centavos. The early 2000s was a period of significant economic and political transitions in the Philippines. The 25 centimo of 2002 circulated during the administration of President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. At this time, the Philippine economy faced challenges like fluctuating currency value, yet coins like the 25 centimo continued to serve their everyday purpose in markets, jeepneys, and sari-sari stores. For many Filipinos, the 25 centimo coin was part of childhood memories. In the early 2000s, it could still buy a piece of candy, a banana cue stick, or contribute to small savings in a piggy bank. Although its purchasing power was modest, its value in the lives of ordinary Filipinos was undeniable. Collectors today look at the 25 centimo 2002 with interest because it represents the second phase of modern Philippine coinage. Unlike older coins that carried images of national heroes, this one shifted focus to native plants, showing a different form of national pride. Another unique aspect of the coin is its small size and light weight. We are diving deep into the history of the Philippine 25 centimo coin from 1981, a coin that may look small in value, but when explored closely, carries a fascinating story of heritage, identity, and the Philippines' economic journey. Get ready, because the more we unfold its past, the more you will realize how much history is packed into this tiny piece of metal. The 25 centimo coin of 1981 belongs to the Angi Bagong Lipunan, or the New Society series, introduced during the presidency of Ferdinand Marcos. This series was launched in 1975 and represented not just a monetary reform but also a political statement. The term Bagong Lipunan symbolized Marcos' vision of a restructured society after he declared martial law in 1970. By 1981, the Philippines was in a transitional phase. The martial law period was still ongoing, and the economy faced many struggles. The 25 centimo coin reflected this moment, being both a tool of everyday exchange and a reminder of the regime's ideology. Coins like this weren't just money, they were also instruments of state propaganda. The obverse of the 1981-5 centimo coin features the portrait of Juan Luna, one of the Philippines' most celebrated heroes. Luna was a revolutionary painter, political activist, and patriot who used his art to inspire freedom during the Spanish colonial era. His most famous painting, Spoliarium, is still regarded as a national treasure. By placing his image on the coin, the government reminded Filipinos of their enduring struggle for independence and cultural pride. On the reverse side, you'll find the coin's denomination, 25 centimo, the year of issue, and the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, also known as Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The seal itself symbolizes stability and authority, making the coin a representation of both heritage and economic governance. Made primarily from copper nickel, the 25 centimo coin of 1981 was small in size but strong in durability. At a time when inflation was becoming a concern, coins like this helped sustain everyday transactions for public transportation fares, small goods in local markets, and neighborhood stores known as sari-sari stores. What makes this coin even more fascinating is how it fits into the evolution of Philippine coinage. Before decimalization in 1967, the Philippines used centavos, a system influenced by American coinage. But after reforms, the term sentimo was officially adopted to reflect Filipino identity more strongly. By 1981, the 25 centimo had become a regular part of daily life, showing how language, culture, and money were deeply intertwined. Reform, yet also carried the timeless image of Juan Luna, a hero who fought for freedom. Interestingly, these coins were mass-produced, which makes them relatively common in circulated conditions. But uncirculated or proof versions, often kept as collectibles, hold greater value for numismatists. Their shine, detail, and preservation make them highly desirable. The 25 centimo 1981 also provides a glimpse into the central bank's role in shaping the national economy. At the time, the bank was responsible for stabilizing the peso and ensuring smooth circulation of money, a difficult task during years of economic challenges. For historians, the coin is more than just currency. It's a piece of tangible evidence of how governments project power and heritage through everyday items. Marcos' administration knew that coins could carry messages as strongly as speeches or posters. Even the choice of metal mattered. Copper nickel was not only cost-effective but also durable, ensuring the coins lasted 3 years of heavy use. This decision reflected practicality in economic policy while still maintaining a standard of quality. Another layer of significance lies in its size and denomination. 25 centimo was often used in exact change for jeepney rides or small snacks, embedding itself into daily life. Generations of Filipinos would have memories tied to this coin. School children buying candies, workers paying fares, or families saving loose change in jars. In global numismatics, the 1981 Philippine 25 centimo coin stands as an example of how developing nations use coinage to strengthen national identity. Collectors outside the Philippines often treasure it as part of world coin collections, admiring both its design and its historical story. Some of these coins today can still be found in flea markets, antique shops, and online platforms. On collector websites, prices vary depending on condition, but they are usually affordable, making them an accessible way for enthusiasts to own a piece of Philippine history. For the younger generation, discovering the 25 Sentimo 1981 can be an educational journey. It bridges the past with the present, showing how money isn't just about buying and selling, it's about remembering who we are and where we came from. Imagine the countless stories connected to this coin, the hands it passed through, the daily struggles it represented, the children who held it tightly, and the history it silently carried. That is the beauty of numismatics, finding meaning in the smallest details. And, when we zoom out even further, the 25 Sentimo coin becomes a part of the Philippines' wider journey in shaping its national identity, recovering from colonial history, and striving for independence in every aspect, including its money. Today, this coin serves as a reminder that even the smallest denomination, the 1 peso of 2010 and the 50 centimo of 1971, these coins are not just pieces of metal. They are symbols of culture, politics, economy, and national identity. The 1 peso 2010 belongs to the BSP series, a modern issue that reflects the country's progression into the 21st century. This series, launched in 1995, replaced the Angi Bagong Lipunan coins and modernized the look of Philippine money. On the obverse of the 1 peso 2010, we see the portrait of Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines. His face has graced many coins throughout Philippine history, symbolizing patriotism, education, and sacrifice for the nation. The reverse features the seal of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas BSP, which had been redesigned in 1993 after the central bank was reorganized. This reflects the Philippines' effort to stabilize its economy after the debt crises of the 1980s and the political changes of the 1986 People Power Revolution. The 1 peso 2010 is minted in nickel-plated steel, giving it a bright silver color and durability for circulation. It was lightweight but sturdy, designed for modern transactions in vending machines, transportation, and retail stores. This coin was widely used across the country, making it one of the most familiar coins to Filipinos. It was the coin you would find in jeepney fare boxes, sari-sari stores, and public markets. But beneath its ordinary use, the 1 peso 2010 carried the ongoing story of a country striving for progress, balancing modernization with tradition. Now let us step back in time to the 50 centimo 1971, a coin from the English series, which had been used since 1958. The obverse of the 50 centimo 1971 proudly displays the image of Marcelo H. del Pilar, a leader of the propaganda movement against Spanish colonization, known by his pen name Plaridel. He used newspapers and writings to fuel the nationalist cause. On the reverse of this coin, we see the coat of arms of the Philippines and the English inscription, Central Bank of the Philippines. This shows the lingering influence of American colonial history, since English remained the official language in governance and law. The 50 centimo 1971 represented half a peso, which was a significant value at the time. It could buy basic goods in local markets, and it was an important denomination in everyday life. What makes this coin historically significant is that it was one of the last coins of the English series. Just after 1971, the Philippines transitioned into the Filipino series, where Filipino words replaced English on coins. This shift marked more than just language. It was a cultural turning point as the Philippines sought to assert its national identity in all aspects of life, including its money. The 197150 centimo, therefore, became a transitional coin, a relic of colonial legacy and a reminder of the push toward self-identity. When compared with the 1 peso 2010, we can see a story of evolution. The 1 peso of 1977 and the 50 centimo of 1971. These coins are more than just currency. They are miniature time capsules that carry within them stories of heritage, politics, culture, and national identity. The 1 peso 1977 emerged during a period of transition in Philippine history. The 1970s were marked by economic struggles, political change, and the declaration of martial law by Ferdinand Marcos in 1972. Coins like the 1 peso became symbols of this turbulent period, carrying both political and economic messages. This coin belongs to the Angi Bagong Lipunan series, which was introduced under the Marcos administration. The series bore the inscription Angi Bagong Lipunan, meaning the new society, a slogan tied to Marcos' political campaign to reshape the Philippines under his governance. The obverse of the 1977. 1 peso features the portrait of José Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines. Rizal was a writer, reformist and revolutionary, whose execution in 1896 inspired Filipinos to rise against Spanish colonial rule. His presence on the coin was meant to remind citizens of patriotism and sacrifice. On the reverse, the coin displayed the seal of the Central Bank of the Philippines, reinforcing the role of the government in financial and economic stability during uncertain times. The 1977 peso was minted in nickel brass, giving it a golden appearance that set it apart from other denominations. It became a common coin in circulation, used daily in markets, jeepney fares, and everyday transactions. But beneath its everyday use, the coin carried deeper meaning. It wasn't just a medium of exchange. It was also a reflection of a society living through controlled propaganda and transformation. Now let us move to the 50 centimo 1971 coin, which came from an earlier generation of Philippine coinage. This coin belonged to the English series, which had been in use since 1958. The obverse of the 50 centimo features Marcello H. del Pilar, one of the most important figures in the propaganda movement during Spanish colonization. Known as Plaridel, he was a writer, journalist, and revolutionary who used words as weapons to fight colonial abuse. The reverse of the 1971 50 centimo displays the coat of arms of the Philippines, along with the English inscription, Central Bank of the Philippines. This reflects the nation's ties to its American colonial past, where English was still widely used in governance and law. By 1971, the coin had become an important part of everyday transactions. 50 centimo may not seem much today, but at that time, it could buy goods in the local market and was valuable to daily wage earners. What makes the 1971 issue special is that it marked the last years of the English series. After 1972, the coin shifted to the Filipino series, replacing English inscriptions with Filipino, signaling a cultural movement toward embracing the national language. This makes the 197150 centimo historically significant. It stood at the crossroads